Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is TV Sky, and welcome to me lying on my floor staring at the ceiling. I've been doing this for like half an hour, recording a vlog that I'm not gonna post because it's just not worth it. But I do want to vlog. But it's gonna be mostly just my ceiling and my voice most of the time, so you're gonna have to deal with that. God, my arms are tired from holding up the camera. Or my phone. I've had a bad day today. And it's like 1 a.m. right now, and I got up at 6 p.m. because my day-night cycle is completely fucked. I eat breakfast at like 7 p.m. So my day isn't over yet. But I have had a bad one so far. First of all, there's the latest video I posted, this Cyberpunk 2077 aesthetics discussion. Got copyright claimed 3 times because of some of the footage that I used to compare Cyberpunk 2, which is like Ghost in the Shell and Akira and stuff like that. All of that got copyright claimed and blocked in a couple of countries. Now, that's a problem for a few reasons. First of all, because when a video gets copyright claimed, I can't serve ads on it, and it gets copyright claimed by multiple different companies. Nobody can serve ads on it. And when a video can't serve ads, well, sometimes, weirdly, it seems like YouTube doesn't really promote that video so much. It doesn't really push it so much in the algorithm. It doesn't show it to as many people. Funny how that works. That's problem number one. Like, it just gets less views, and that sucks because I did put some work into that video. Problem number 2 is that if a video doesn't do very well, if it doesn't do the same kinds of numbers that the rest of the videos have been doing, the algorithm takes that into account and says, that channel's videos haven't been doing so well. I guess we won't prioritize showing them to people so much in the future because clearly people didn't enjoy it and don't care about this channel's videos. Which means now, the next video that I post will be getting fewer views unless I post about something that will push it really up high up in the search rankings, which means YouTube is very strongly encouraging me to do like a fucking list video, or do a CinemaSins video, or like do something fucking low-effort meme content that's clickbaity to get the views back so that the algorithm will stop me prioritizing my video. So that sucks. Like, my next video is probably not gonna do very well, just because this one didn't and got copyright claimed, so that fucking sucks. So I'm in the process of disputing those copyright claims. But if they reject my disputes, I could get copyright strikes. I could get up to 2 of them, which would fuck my channel in the ass. In the absolute ass, it would fuck my channel in the ass. So that's fun. That's super fun. So that's number 1 reason I have a bad day. Number 2 reason is I got into an argument on the internet that I should never, ever, ever, ever have gotten into. I should never have done it. I should never have engaged with it. I shouldn't have done it. It was a bad idea, and I shouldn't have done it. And it doesn't matter who I got into the argument with. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It was a bad idea. And it doesn't really matter what the argument is about either, because the subject matter of the argument isn't really relevant to why it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea because it was a subject about which me and the person discussing could not come to a consensus for a baseline. That's fundamentally what the issue was, is that we could not come to a baseline common understanding from which to build arguments. And that's why arguments like that are a bad idea. It's because you can only have a discussion with someone if you can reasonably agree on some fundamental reality. For example, you can't discuss science with a flat earther. Not because the flat earther is incapable of having a discussion, because they are capable of having a discussion, not incapable. Oh, hiccups. Still too fast. They are perfectly capable of having a discussion, but because you can't come to a common consensus about some very basic facts of reality, you can't agree on the nature of science. And so you can't have a discussion about science. It would be like trying to argue maths in base 10 with someone who refuses to argue in anything but base 8, right? It's you can't come to a common consensus on what the base numbers that you're working with even are. So you can't have a discussion. And that's pretty much what happened to me. I got into a discussion with someone who has a completely different basis, like who had a completely different idea of what the stakes of the argument even were. And that's always going to end in disaster. There's just no way around it. It ends in disaster every time. And I should never have done it. I should have realized very early on, and I did, that this person and I don't share a baseline. And I should have stopped, or I should have just never done it. There's the League of Legends lore retcon video. There's my editing window. 40 minutes long. I've managed about that much. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. I'm considering hiring an editor, actually. I've had a contact with someone who wants to maybe do some editing for me, in return for money, obviously, which I'm quite fine with. And I'm not so sure if I can afford it is the problem. But I sure would like someone to help kind of take the pressure off this shit for me. Because I am so fucking slow. But anyway, this internet argument. I'm bringing it up. I don't want to name and shame anyone, because frankly, this shit happened because of me, because I engaged when I shouldn't have. Even I think that person is wrong. I think their opinions are ridiculous and harmful. Not gonna apologize for that at all, but I shouldn't have engaged, because it was never gonna be a productive discussion. It was never gonna happen. The trouble is that I kind of don't want to get into the substance matter of the argument because it doesn't fucking matter. But the trouble is, I'm going to lie down again. Ugh. What is the trouble? Well, the trouble is about baselines, right? You can't argue with someone who you don't have a common baseline with. You have to agree that 2 + 2 = 4 in order to discuss math. It can't be that 2 + 2 = 4 for you, but it equals 6 for the other guy. You can't discuss math under those circumstances. But the trouble is, in order for me to establish a common baseline with this other person, I would have had to communicate to them a very extremely long series of experiences that inform my very angry viewpoint on the topic in question. That's the other reason why I shouldn't have engaged. I was fucking angry, and I'm still fucking angry about this subject. It's the PAX riot thing. That fucking typhoon in a shot glass of a nothing burger that should never ever have been an issue. That's got some strong opinions about that shit that I don't want to discuss, because nothing good is going to come of it, because I can't establish a common baseline with you. Dear viewer, we can't establish a common baseline, because my baseline is, oh god, it's like 15 years. It's like almost 15 years of seeing these internet hate mobs play out over and over and over again, and seeing the same patterns repeat over and over and over again. And seeing the tactics evolve. Like, they used to be a lot simpler back in the day when we only had forum boards to do this shit on. Now with social media, it's even more fun. My baseline, the reason why I'm so pissed about it, about the stuff that's been happening, I don't give a shit about Riot. Fuck Riot right now with the Kotaku article. Like, it was a blatantly obvious ploy to try and rehabilitate themselves a little bit after the Kotaku article. That was never gonna work. But like it was the kind of thing where it's like, okay, fine, that's an okay first step, I guess. Good for you, but it's not like I'm gonna give them any credit for it because of given all the bullshit they've put their employees through. But whatever. But the reason I got pissed about it is because the hate mobs that emerged. over something that should never ever have been a big... It was like the worst possible harm that could come from Riot excluding some people from the panel is that some people didn't get to see a PAX panel or two live. They had to catch it on VOD if they really wanted to see it. That's it. They didn't get an opportunity to ask some questions at a panel at a convention. That's the extent of the harm. And that's something you can criticize. It's completely fair to criticize that and to say, hey, that wasn't really cool. That's fine. What's not fine is using it as a pretense for launching a witch hunt on fucking Reddit.com, for launching a harassment campaign against people who weren't even fucking involved with any of the decisions that were made anywhere at PAX, and not even launch a harassment campaign against any fucking one. But I guess, since if it had been an event for Challenger players only, because they wanted to take questions, like it was like an outreach event for Challenger players where they wanted to know some Challenger players' opinions on some balance issues or what the fuck ever, or they wanted some play testing done or something like that, nobody would have had raised a complaint. Nobody would have. Even though that would be a million times more exclusionary than anything else, nobody in the world would have raised a complaint. They would have been like, oh, well, that vaguely sucks, but I guess it's only for Challenger players. Oh, well. And they would have moved on with their fucking lives. But I guess if there's a lady involved, oh, no. Can't let the ladies have a space in gaming. That would be fucking... Anyway, don't get into it, Sky, and don't, because the people who are right now, if someone watches this who wants to leave a comment about how wrong I am about this, part of the reason why you think I'm so fucking wrong is because you don't have my baseline. We don't share the same perspective on what this is at all. And my perspective is that it's a repetition of a pattern I've seen dozens and dozens of times before, where someone is made an acceptable target and are deluged, not necessarily with abuse, but just with debate me, essentially, with requests for public debate. Excuse me, I have some reasonable concerns about your position on this particular issue. Would you care to debate them in an open and honest forum, sir? That's fine, but then you get it 500 times from 500 people, 499 of whom are not actually interested in changing their minds. They don't want to have a debate for the purposes of broadening their horizons, for understanding an argument. They want to have a, air quotes, debate in order to regurgitate talking points at you in defense of their own opinions. And that's called sea lioning, in essence, and it's something that I don't even want to have a discussion with anyone about whether sea lioning happens or not, because it happens. It happens to me. It happens to fucking everyone. People who come to you under the guise of good faith that they want to have a serious discussion, a serious debate about an issue, and then literally the only thing they will ever do is call your opinion into question. That's it. Like, that's the only thing they will ever do is call your opinion, your take, your beliefs into question, and they will ask for evidence. Endless evidence. And once you present evidence, they'll say, oh, well, but I can't trust that evidence. Do you have some more evidence? It's not enough evidence. Or they will move the goalposts, and they will say, oh, well, but I've changed what this discussion is about now, without ever admitting that maybe they were wrong about any other points. And all that is an attempt to exhaust you, to tire you out, to just keep the thing going and going and going and never conceding anything, so that when you finally get fucking tired and you go, I don't want to talk about this anymore, the sea lion can turn around and go, see, he could not defend his argument in an open and honest exchange of ideas. Clearly his argument is bunk. And that is bad faith bullshit. So, like, some people will have reasonable concerns. And I get, look, I have some sympathy. Like, if you go to PAX and you were expecting to go to some Riot panels or whatever, and that was kind of you planned your trip around that, and then you find out, oh, they don't admit you, okay, that sucks. But all that happened is you didn't get to see some panels at a convention. It sucks, but you didn't get to see some panels at a convention. And getting that upset about it reminds me of those, like, the angry soccer mom screaming at a barista because they put the wrong sprinkles on their double chai macchio no milk skim fat latte, whatever the fuck. I demand to speak to your manager. This is the wrong sprinkles on my thing, and I demand that I paid for this thing, and I demand to see your manager. Like, that's what that reminds me of most of all. But anyway, the baseline we can't share because I can't communicate to you how I saw this shit when I was a moderator on a forum back in the day. Like on a tiny little insular, like a couple of thousand users, maybe forum. I saw that sea lioning process happen. And I've seen it happen for years on social media. And I've seen the abusers that hide themselves in that debate. Because from the perspective of anyone who doesn't understand quite how sea lioning works or what it is or who isn't really familiar with it, what it looks like is that the person in question is receiving lots and lots of very polite, friendly requests for open, honest, and spirited debate. And then maybe occasionally there'll be one or two assholes spouting hate at them. Sure, but that's just the internet, right? It's not anything to be worried about. It's not anything special. It's just the internet, right? But from the perspective of the person who's receiving it, what they're seeing is hundreds and hundreds of people demanding their time and attention in bad faith arguments, and then when they don't respond to them, declaring victory in some kind of intellectual contest that the person was not willing to defend their beliefs. And lots of passive-aggressive, are you willing to engage with me in an open debate, or must you concede that your opinions are wrong? And they see the abuse. They see it a lot harder. They get it in, like, sometimes in direct messages, which you should just never ever leave open. And it's just, and I've seen it happen so many times. So many times. And this particular PAX Riot thing has seen it happen to multiple of my friends have been on the receiving end of this shit. Of the sea lions, of the abuse, of the hatred, of the people who insist that they have reasonable concerns, even as they do their very best to waste as much time and emotional effort as humanly possible. And I've seen it over and over and over again, and I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it, and I'm not in the mood to be patient about it. And I should never have gotten into an argument about it. I should never have done it. Because I can't share that base. Like, the person I was arguing with cannot share my baseline. They cannot feel just the depths of exhaustion that I feel about this. They can't feel the level of anger that I have about this. About the ways in which my fucking friends are being treated. The death threats that they get. The rape threats, the harassment, the abuse, people spending all day just typing at them, I hope you die, I hope you die, I hope you die, I hope you die, I hope your dog dies, I hope you die alone, I hope your parents die, I hope you get raped, I hope you get killed. Establishing whole networks of Twitter accounts just to tweet that at someone all day. And I can't tell you what that feels like. I can't make you understand how I got to this point. It can't be done, especially not on the fucking internet, especially not in a debate with a relative stranger online. You can't share the baseline, and if we can't share the baseline, we can't have a discussion. I should never have gotten into it. I should just never have done it, but it had nonetheless ruined my entire fucking day because I've spent a long time being in these feelings. In the powerlessness, in the anger, in the frustration, in the exhaustion. I've spent hours there now, and it's taking me so fucking long just to get out of it enough that I can even record a vlog about it. And it fucks with my fucking head, man. And I should never ever have gotten into it. I'm not gonna apologize even for 1 second for holding the opinions that I do on this subject. I'm not going to apologize for not being in the mood to be patient and polite and generous about it. I'm not going to apologize for it because my experiences justify my anger. They really, really, genuinely, truly do. But I'm sorry for ever getting into it. I'm sorry for engaging. I really am. Because I'm sure it wasn't fun for the other person either. And it was especially not fun for me. This is an apology to myself as much as anyone else. Sorry for bringing it into the line of fire. of other people who had to see it, because it was never going to produce anything constructive. It was never going to happen, and I should have known that, and I kind of did know that, but I plunged along anyway. Because I am so fucking pissed off. Anyway, I've had kind of a bad day.